In this video, we're going to discuss a leak of the new MacBooks and a whole new refresh of the MacBook Pro. I'm going to tell you how exactly is Apple planning to be the king of the laptop industry. Without any further ado, let's get started. What's up folks, it's me Shahil. If you like what you're seeing here, consider subscribing and pressing the bell icon so that you don't miss any of my future videos. First of all, we all know that Apple use their own chipset in all of their products except for the MacBook. The iPhone, iPad and the iPod uses the Apple's A series chips. The Apple Watch uses the Apple's S series chips, but the MacBook uses just the T series chip from Apple, which is just for encryption and security. But the main chip which is in the MacBook is provided by Intel and is produced by Intel. Let's take a look at today's MacBook lineup. The lowest of all is the 13-inch MacBook Air, which is starting at $999, and just about that there is the 13-inch mid-level MacBook Pro starting at $1299, and there is the flagship MacBook Pro which is 16-inch and starting at $2399. These are all the laptops that Apple makes today. There is one thing in common for all these laptops produced by Apple, and that is the Intel processor. Intel is the one company which produces chips for all the Apple laptops. But according to an almost confirmed leak or prediction, we get to know that that won't be the case anymore. Well, we know that Apple is going to make a whole new chipset for the Mac, and that this chipset is going to be based on the ARM platform. But before getting into the detail, let's take a look at why Intel processor is not such a good idea for Apple. Since Intel is not an Apple company or sub-brand, Apple has to invest and give a lot of money to Intel for their processors for the Macs. And that is going to affect the final product as it is going to be much expensive. And even if Intel is not making much of a difference in their new chip, Apple is forced to market their new chips by saying something to the consumers. And that is a big headache for Apple. Also, Intel chips are said to be vulnerable, and that is the main reason why Apple puts in a T-series chips in the Macs. Now let's take a look at some of the benefits if Apple starts producing an ARM-based chip for their Macs. First and the main thing is that cost cutting would be possible with the new ARM-based chips. Since Apple is making the new ARM-based chip, it will be much easier for them since they don't have to buy it from someone else. Number 2, marketing. Apple knows what their Macs want and what their consumers want, so it will be easy for them to make a new chip based on that. And with this method, Apple can make their marketing very easy and effective. We can also expect optimized performance like all the other Apple products. Since there's this sync between the Apple processor and the Apple product, we can ensure optimized performance in their products. And if Apple puts in the new ARM-based chips into their Macs, we can expect up to 18 hours of battery life in the new MacBooks. Now here comes the question of an average user. Will the performance be enough for pro tasks? In my opinion, and in one word, we can say that definitely. And there's a proof today to prove that, and that's the one and only iPad Pro. We saw that the iPad Pro is capable of editing 4K videos with color grading on it seamlessly. From Apple, we can ensure that the ARM-based chip in the Mac is going to be pretty powerful too. And since Apple has their own set of Pro applications, like the Final Cut Pro, the Logic Pro, they can ensure optimized performance for such apps with their chips. Now that the ARM thing is aside, let's take a look at a second leak. This leak tells us that no one should buy the 13-inch MacBook Pro now because Apple is planning to make a 14-inch refresh to it. Let me tell some of my opinion on that. In my opinion, first thing is that it will be accurate. Because Apple replaced their 15-inch MacBook Pro with their 16-inch refresh. And if we apply the same principle over here, it is very clear that they can even make a 14-inch refresh to the 13-inch. But one thing is sure, and that is that we can expect ARM-based MacBooks anytime soon. Because the recent news tells us that Apple has put a lot of money into chip development. And that's it for this video. If you like what you're seeing here, give it a thumbs up, share this video with your family and friends. And if you like my channel, consider subscribing and pressing the bell icon so that you don't miss any of my future content. Until we meet the next time, it's your host Shahil. Goodbye.